Welcome to EverSky Developer Video 14. So I've been playing with the idea of building different types of items in the world, and one of the ways I've been doing it is by using this build platform kind of concept. The idea being that you place a build platform in the level editor. Obviously I'm doing it fairly stupidly here, but the build platform allows you to point at it, and it's got a physics box around it so that you can see the physics kind of working a bit mysteriously here. But it means that you can build things on the platform. So the platforms themselves will be static, and you can just point at them and say build something here, whichever thing you've got selected. So in the world editor I'm just going to place the platforms like this. The yellow dot I'll show you later as a sort of connect point. And then you just look at it and it'll highlight the thing you're going to build, and then you just click to build it. So that was one way of building things. I was thinking of sort of the constraints of building might be kind of useful here. The next way I tried to do it was through the use of the physics and snap points. So here I've just added a bunch of physics objects into the world. You can see that right now it's a bit too obvious and the sort of feedback's a bit weird, but so these yellowy greenish looking balls that appear on the end of their rods, they're essentially snap points, and snap points can be anywhere on the object and any orientation and stuff, but the idea is that you'll be able to snap things together. Now one of the problems I've been having is if you look at the actual, you'll see it as we're going further along, these are supposed to be rigid joints. So the physics engine's actually adding a rigid joint for these as I snap them together. But as I snap this end one on, just look at what actually happens for a supposedly rigid joint. To me, that's not massively rigid. So these are all rigidly connected together, and yet it doesn't seem quite right, yeah? Funny. So I experimented with Unity, and Unity has the same kind of problem if you set the iteration count low. So it's probably just that I'm not iterating the physics solver often enough, and you get this kind of weird non-rigid behavior. Now there's a couple of ways I can fix this, but I'm really just still experimenting with the idea of snapping things together. Theoretically it kind of works alright, but actually it just doesn't feel very freeform, it doesn't feel, the reaction rate doesn't feel right. So that's something I'm going to be working on for a while, I think. I'll probably try a few different structures first. So these are the kind of rods, and rods are easy enough to snap together. I'll probably put a sort of crucifix kind of thing in, and maybe a few angled objects just to see if it works. But for some reason it just doesn't feel as satisfying as just literally pushing things together using physics. But there are useful things, there are uses for having constraints on objects. So things like regular building structures kind of have a uniform construction, and that's kind of hard to do if you're doing everything by eye and by hand. So maybe some kind of crossover between the two is probably what I'll end up doing. Maybe sort of projecting a grid or those kind of things. So that's it for this week. Hopefully I'll update again fairly soon with some new ideas, and leave feedback on Twitter if you like, and I'll see you later. Thank you.